Sleep eluded him. He sat at his wooden desk, gazing out at a night sky full of stars. The waning moon appeared to rest in a cradle of skeletal tree branches. The call of owl and fox heightened his sense of isolation with their eerie songs. He shivered, bracing himself against the cold air. Slowly he got to his feet, approaching the hearth. Carefully he added another log, feeding the flames. He lived alone now, in his writer's retreat, this special place away from the world of people, far from the built-up areas. It had been a shared home once. Sighing heavily, he cast his mind back. At one time his beloved would have sat beside him as he wrote. Their cat would have curled up by the fire, and the dog would have been asleep by his feet. Now it was just him and, of course, the characters, their tireless voices such as they were. He still had chapters to write before his novel would be complete, a great compendium of stories, decades of writing. Now a shadow of his former self, he felt exhaustion's arms closing around him. He had been strong and vital once, but the characters came and somehow each took a piece of him. Every night, when he closed his eyes, he would see them, hear them. Were they just imagined characters? Perhaps ghosts or spirits. All had a story, captured between wakefulness and dreaming, and he found he could not help but write for them. As the candle guttered, he lit another. Brighter light seemed to offend the shadows and chase away the stars, so he only wrote by candlelight. His typewriter gathered dust, for he could not bear the clack of keys. Instead, he wrote by hand, lifting the pen, listening to the stories slowly he scribed, letting the words flow. As he so often did, he wrote until the pen fell from his limp grasp. Eyelids closed heavily, and he slept as soundly as he ever could. As dawn broke over a frost-kissed landscape, he found a sense of peace in deeper sleep. Somehow, in the daylight, the voices grew quiet enough for his dreams to be still. In this tranquillity, one voice would return to him, his beloved, soothing his soul, whispering words of comfort. He remembered their visits only ever as a pleasant dream. When he awoke, in the afternoon's darkening light, he had a sense of restored calm and renewed energy. Quelling his physical hunger and thirst with tea and a sandwich, he returned to his work. He had been on this journey for so long, and he was so very close to finishing. There were just a few stories left now. If he could only gather the energy to keep going until it was complete, he would compose the final chapters, and his duty as a writer would be done. Then, in long-anticipated silence, he would put down his pen and rest.